There's been a lot of efforts over probably the last 15 years to start a community garden, and we've been here this will be the third summer, and it's been a phenomenal success. CJ, David Schofer, and Romanda Simpson and I somehow came together serendipitously, and she had received grants from Peace Health and then also from the Ketchikan Community Foundation. Tongass Federal Credit Union owns the land that we're standing on and growing on, and then also Clover Pass Community Church, because of their support. It's just been phenomenal. Yeah. This was built in 2021, and it all came together in a span of about 3 months by the three of us just bulldozing, because we knew that we had a very short window. Yes.
I know Clover Pass Church had this empty parking lot here that they didn't really know what to do with, and they were very kind to let us take it over. There was probably about 12 people here, and we all were cutting and raking saw chips all over, and we put all these beds together and we filled them and we amended the soil, and yeah, it was pouring down rain and cold. So I've been a gardener ever since I was a little kid. My mom, you know, we had a garden growing up, and we were always out there growing zucchini or tomatoes, and just fell in love with it. And ever since then, I've always had a garden. And I've done community gardens, and when I was in college, and then living in Arizona, and now I'm here in Alaska, and I'm thrilled that there's one here that I get to bring my kids to too. Today I'm here at the community garden harvesting garlic. We had a couple donation beds, so we're gonna harvest this and sell it at Wolf Point Produce later in the season. So I'm pulling the whole garlic head out of the soil. I'm gonna gently remove some of the outer skins of the garlic head so it looks nice and white and clean, and then we'll let it cure in a dry, warm spot for at least a week, if not longer, and get it nice and hard and crispy so it'll overwinter. Gardening in Alaska is the toughest thing I have probably ever done, and I've had 2 children, but like, it is wet, it is cold, it is not sunny, there is slugs, there is root maggots, there's aphids. It is a tricky beast, and every year it's a little bit different, so it's just trial by error, and you learn these little tricks, and you can get away with pretty much growing anything here. You do need a greenhouse for hot crops like tomatoes or basil, but gosh, potatoes, spinach, beets, raspberries, garlic, all do really well here.
So cool.
I know, I was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, wow. So the opportunity for us to be here growing our own food at this great space at the community gardens has given us the chance to educate people on the presence of indigenous foods like the Haida potatoes that we have growing here, and just generally be able to educate people on growing their own food and that it's possible here in our community. One thing that is really important to us is having kind of like a vault of seeds for potatoes to be able to continue growing these Haida potatoes and have our elders consume those and take them home is another really important thing to us, and having them stocked in our food pantry to be able to give to tribal members to enjoy these types of foods that maybe people normally wouldn't have access to.
Well, I think that it's really, to me, really fun that KIC is keeping that Haida potato alive. Hada lahas, awas Esther Littlefield gin diga suda ganudlingal sudang kasang. We were in Sitka teaching, my mother and I, and we were sitting in the lobby with Esther Littlefield. She was a beater, and she was sitting there with us. And this Forest Service employee said, you know, the Tlingits in Sitka used to have big wars with the Haida. And after the tourists left, then Esther Littlefield called that Forest Service employee over. And she said, Do you know what? We don't have any big trees here in Sitka. You go in the forest and they're little skinny yellow cedar trees and hemlock, she said, and alder. We don't have those huge trees that are on Haida Gwaii. And so we had to trade with the Haidas from long ago. But when the Russians were here, the Russians used to order potatoes from the Haidas, and they would come with their canoes full of Haida potatoes. And when the canoes landed, the Tlingit chiefs used to take their Chilkat robes and put it over the canoe. That meant they were going to trade for those canoes.
We're trying to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to access the garden, to participate in the garden, and to really feel as part of the community. I think what's really great about the community garden is the wider community coming together. But oftentimes, I don't know that all of our tribal citizens feel like they're part of the whole community. And I think us participating specifically in the Haida Potato Project and then branching out, you know, to the garlic and the peas and all those things and really kind of making that, it's really making us think about, you know, how are we participating in the greater community? How are we making sure that our members know that they have a place in this wider community? Just having a bed that they can come and play in next to other people who just want to play in the dirt with them, it gives us a different perspective on who people are. You know, you're not an Indian and a white guy, you know, out there gardening or gal. You're just people who like to play in the dirt, you know, and throw around stink kelp and maybe some fish guts to fertilize your soil, right? And experiment that. That's a connectivity, and it's its own way of maybe, you know, introducing you to somebody you wouldn't necessarily have access to.
The reason why I have a bed here, it is these community spaces of bringing people together to share ideas and bounce, you know, ideas off, or problems or questions, or just having a space where you can come and say hi to people, you know, and communicate and feel part of something is why I bring my kids here and why I had to have a bed here as soon as I heard we were going to have a community garden.
I love seeing success, and I really love seeing people experimenting, getting out of their comfort zone, making mistakes, trying new things. Love seeing ethnic vegetables come in through ethnic cuisine and different populations that are using the garden. I love collaboration with Ketchikan Indian community. It's just gardening for the soul. Yeah.
A donation bed is a fancy word of just saying we have an empty bed, and us gardeners can't let anything not grow in a bed, so we take it over and we make it our donation bed. So if anybody wanted to garden at the community garden, we have space, so please be in contact with us and we'll sign you up, and you might even get a bed full of garlic if you join late, because we have no self-control here.